cooking class. I'm Chef Anthony, and today we're going to be doing a few recipes. Zesty slow cooked barbecue chicken in a crock pot. That recipe is submitted from John Sampson from Far Horizons. Thank you very much. A pleasure to be cooking your recipe today. Also, that dessert is going to be followed by a bread pudding. Nice little life hack on it, a little quick and easy bread pudding. That one is Rihanna Viviani from Apache Wells. Thank you. We're also going to be doing some homemade potato chips here. Just a quick little recipe that I chose to throw in there. So we're going to begin with the Zesty slow cooked barbecue chicken in the crock pot. So we're going to do 6 chicken breasts, skinless chicken breasts. You can do frozen or you can do thawed out. And when you're dealing with the crock pot, those things don't even matter because you're going to put it all in there and you're going to walk away and you're going to go to the bank and you're going to go to the dog park. And that's the beauty about these tools. So here I have 6 chicken breasts that's ready to go. I did thaw these out. Which again, you can do it frozen or not. So we're going to place that right in there. About 7 chicken breasts. I left the fat on there. You can do chicken thighs if you want. You can do a mixture of both if you like. That's just going to add more flavor and texture to the finished product. We got some Worcestershire here. It calls for about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire. I did about 1/8 of a cup. Just because I know I like the flavor of it. But you're more than welcome to adjust how you feel. So we got some brown sugar here, about 1/4 of a cup. We got a 1/2 cup of Zesty Italian dressing. That's your zest right there. That's your zing that you want right there. And then you got barbecue sauce here. I have, it says about 12 ounces, so about a good mid-sized bottle. I wouldn't go use Baby Ray's. I like Baby Ray's myself. Or if you're very clever and you can just make your own barbecue sauce, throwing the ingredients right in there all at once. So there we have our barbecue sauce there. And get all that goodness scraped out of there. Okay, and here comes the magic, okay guys? Here comes the magic right here. Right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and give that nice little twirl so my chicken gets coated. You don't got no dry spots. Everything's in there. Okay, here comes the magic, guys. Here comes the magic. Right? You lock that. Right? You set that on low, 4 to 6 hours, you know, or on high, 6 to 8 hours, depending on how your schedule is looking for that day. And there it is, folks. You just put it away, out of mind, out of sight. The longer, the better. Slow and low, and it's gonna be so savory, so sweet, so zesty. Okay, so we're gonna step forward to our homemade potato chips. These are one of my favorites. I like doing these with the kids. I like doing potato wedges, potato chips, baked potatoes, twite bakes, mashed potatoes. Anything we can do with potato, confit potatoes, one of our favorites with some onion. And we just fry that up, let that roll in the oven for a couple hours. Some nice, good oil, olive oil. Kids love it. Adults love it. It's always a go-to snack, picnics, barbecues, around the house, chips and dip. I mean, what's not to love, right? Quick fun fact that I found out about chips: it was actually invented in 1853, but a young Native American and African American chef, George Crumb. Story goes that he had an unhappy customer who complained about the fries being too thick. And he came in every day and complained about the potatoes being too thick. So in retaliation, Chef George went to go ahead and slice them all to be thin, real thin. Okay, and this is after a couple of times of him sending the plates back, sending the plates back and complaining they're too thick. They're just too thick. They're just too thick. So, out of revenge, or despite Chef George in a rage, I believe, if I know a chef or two, uh, decided to go in the back, slice the potatoes as thin as possible, fried them in deep fat fry, and then heavily seasoned them in salt. So he seasoned them on purpose. And I believe he did it just to get a reaction out of the guy, you know. And the guy was delighted. He was delighted. He was thankful. He said it was some of the best French fries, or whatever he called them at the time, because chips weren't really invented yet. That name wasn't invented yet. So he was delighted. And so potato chips were invented accidentally out of a rage between a customer and a chef, you know. Also read that you know, some the first American flavor potato chips were sour cream and onion and barbecue. So those are all, you know, some of America's favorite chips. I know I have 2 bags of each at my house. So what I'm doing here, I already have washed and peeled my potato. Now, if you have a mandolin, feel free to use a mandolin. You can take the side of this cheese grater and use that slicer on the side. And all I'm doing is just going straight down in one motion, catching all 3 of those blades. Okay, and I'm just going down. It doesn't have to be fast. Just take your time, because these things will penetrate the skin. So I have a couple there. What I'm doing here is I'm taking some of these slices here, and I'm gonna put them in some cold water right here, and that's gonna shape them. That's gonna kind of give them that fold after they've been sliced, and give them that shape, that known potato chip shape, right? So I'm gonna let those soak there for a minute while my grease is heating up, and then we're gonna go ahead and get to that. Okay, after successfully slicing a couple of potatoes to your liking, however many you want, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you have a couple of potato chips just like so. Know that they're not going to be all perfect, okay? But that's okay, because that's what makes a potato chip unique. Alright, so I did dry them up. I patted them. After taking them out of the water, I did set them on a plate with a couple of paper towels, patted them, try to soak up some of that moisture, because you're going to be going into a 350 degree deep fat frying. And if you know, like I know, or very experienced at, you're going to get some backsplash. It's going to bubble up. It's going to combustlate. So you don't want that going everywhere. Especially if you're doing open fire, you can start a grease fire like that. So just slowly going to start submerging your chips into the oil. You're going to do small batches, not overcrowding, so that'll allow you to get fully cooked chips versus, you know, they get stuck together. You got a half cooked chip, one too crispy. So we're going to ensure even cook throughout the whole chips, the whole batch. So I'm going to start off with a couple. And for my seasoning, I have salt, pepper, granulated garlic, and onion powder, and that's going to be my seasoning. But you're more than welcome to play around with that. You got Larry seasoning salt out there. Excuse me. One of my favorite is to dose the chips in a little bit of vinegar, and then hit it with a little lemon pepper garlic all over it, and it just gives it a nice unique taste. One of my favorites, like I said. So I'm going to start off by placing some of these chips in the fryer. And you don't have to do it by hand. You can get your spoon, slotted spoon, because you don't want to hold some of that grease in there. A nice slotted spoon, and place them in there in small batches, okay? Small batches. And you just want to give them a nice little twirl. Nice little twirl. Okay, this is going to go fast. There's a lot of carryover heat in play here. Okay, you don't want to necessarily take it to a golden, rusted brown. You don't want to cook it all the way, because then when you take it out, it still continues to cook. So you kind of want to keep an eye on it. Stir it around a little bit. It is to your liking. One of the biggest tips I've got for one of the plenty of chefs that I work with is when you think they're not ready, they're likely to be ready. So, you know, it's golden brown, but is it good enough golden brown? It's good. Take it out, you know, season it, let it cool off, taste it before you do your next batch. Is that the time? Is that how long I want to go? Is that the brown I'm looking for? And you know, the thinner the chip, the faster it's going to cook. The thicker the chip, the longer it's going to cook eternal. So you know, there's those factors. So if you want to do your batches, just make sure you have the same amount, same consistent cut going in, so you get that good batch, you know, a good matching batch there. So it takes about 2 to 3 minutes on what I have here on my cut. I'm liking the color that I'm getting out of it. It reminds me of a nice barbecue lace chip. That's the color that I'm getting it. So I'm gonna submit some in here while that cools off. I'm getting some real thin slices here, some pretty thick slices, so I'm just gonna back off a little bit and just make sure I have consistent cuts in there so they don't overcook, okay? So while that sits there, I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle a little pepper, a little salt, granulated garlic. Told you I like garlic, and then some onion powder, okay? You're just gonna go ahead and give that a toss. Right when it's hot, coming out of the fryer, all that grease is still on there. The seasoning is gonna stick to it. You know, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good. And as long as you sit, the air is gonna crisp it up. So at first you might think, oh, they're a little soggy or a little tender. You let it sit there for a few moments, you know, patiently resisting a bite, and you'll notice that over a couple of minutes with being cold, they're gonna start crispying up. Now you can take it longer if you like a crispy potato chip or a crispy French fry. All right. And while these are going right here, I'm just gonna take a little peekaboo at my Zesty barbecue chicken. From what I can see, it's doing pretty good. So I'm just gonna let it be and continue with this. So after these potato chips, we're gonna go ahead and roll over to our homemade bread pudding, okay? So that you're gonna like that one. Okay, so while we have our Zesty barbecue chicken simmering in the crock pot, and our potato chips are cooling off here, we're gonna get started on our dessert. Okay, so you're gonna need 6 to 8 cinnamon rolls already cooked. So I chose to do the Pillsbury pop, cook them off, then I cooled them down. Since I split them in half, cut them in half, I'm just gonna leave them whole because I like a big portion. But you can go ahead and cut them in half or leave them as whole. So you're gonna need 5 eggs. You're gonna need 1 quart of milk, 5 eggs, half a cup of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay. I chose to put craisins in it. You can choose to put raisins, craisins, or nothing in it. So we're gonna go ahead and put that over the top. We're gonna sprinkle the raisins or the craisins or the fraisins over the top of the cinnamon rolls baking dish. Okay, and then in a mixing bowl, I'm gonna combine the 1 quart of milk. Okay, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, that's the goodness. I love vanilla. Some sugar, half a cup of sugar, all in, and then the eggs. You can beat the eggs prior, or you can beat them all in there. I like to put them all in there myself and beat it all up. So you're gonna go ahead and get that a good whisk and combine everything. It seems like a lot, but remember, the bread pudding, you want that to soak. You want that to soak. That's the magic behind the bread pudding. So I'm just making sure all my eggs are busted, all my egg yolks are busted. Here, giving it a nice big swirl. You can see the color change and the meal go into, you know, a yellow or off-white look, and you're gonna start seeing it smell. You can start smelling the vanilla in there, definitely. All right, so looks like I got a good beat in there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that right over the pan. My goal is to really just get the top of every cinnamon roll, so I just, for my peace of mind, just knowing that they got soaked from top to bottom. All right. Yeah, mine are floated a little bit, but that's okay, I guess. You know, I'm just gonna submerge those a little bit in there, get them soaked per se. And now you're gonna go in the oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. Keep a close eye on it, because remember, we all have different ovens. All our ovens cook different. Altitude's a big factor. If you got a conventional oven versus a convention oven, big factors. Okay, so just make sure you get a good understanding of what you're working with your equipment, and then we're gonna pop this in the oven. Remember, 350 degrees for 1 hour. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. After a few hours of letting the chicken and the barbecue and all that sauce go for about 2 to 3 hours, simmer in there, we have our finished product here. And then I did time to time go back, stir it up with a wooden spoon or some pair of tongs, breaking up that tender chicken as you know, as it keeps simmering and simmering and simmering throughout the time. So here, the slided spoon, I'm gonna go ahead and get some of this yumminess out. And you know, just personally, I love sliders, beef sliders, pork sliders, everything sliders. Everything on the bun is just so goodness. You know, they're so little, and you can have 3 or 4 and not feel guilty about it. You know, so you know, I love sliders. I work for a restaurant that we have sliders, so I have sliders almost every day for my employee lunch. So here you go. Got a couple of barbecue chicken sliders. I do have my homemade potato chips with a little bit of dill dip, and I believe my bread pudding's up. That's gorgeous. Nice and hot out of the oven. That cooked for about an hour. And I left them whole. I left them big pieces. On there it says that you might want to cut them in half. But I like a big piece. Nice and hot out of the oven. You know, got some craisins in there. I believe I got a little whipped cream there, just to cool it down some. You get a big mouthful. So there you have it, folks. Homemade potato chips with our zesty barbecue chicken, pulled chicken almost, and our homemade bread pudding. I hope you enjoy, and after this, I'm gonna need a nap, so I'll see you next time.